Hello. We are back again on Monday to Friday. Hopefully we'll finish on Friday, but we'll see what happens. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do the outline of the basket, and we're going to do some little bits on some of the other things as well. And I've actually just had a really great idea for this basket handle. I don't know if it's going to work yet, so I'm going to trial it. So what we're going to do today is here. We're going to do around this section. Then we're going to do around the glasses and some little bits around here. And if we have time, we might do some bits around here as well. But we might save that for tomorrow. So you're going to need the thread that you want to outline the basket with and the thread that you want the top to be. So I'm thinking I might outline my basket. I'm going to put the top of it to be like this color, this darker color that I did the two stripes in on the top. And I'm just debating right now, which is what you saw me doing, whether I should outline it in the dark color, kind of like to bring it all together, or if I should outline it in the lighter color, because that's like what more of the basket is. So I think I'm going to do that. So what you're going to need here is whatever color that you want. And we're actually going to use all 6 strands for this. Also, my fingernails and fingers are bluish purple because we did tie-dye with the kids this last weekend. And we all used gloves. It was totally fine, okay? Until I went to go rinse out the tie-dye t-shirts. And I had gloves on, but I had to rinse them out so much that all of the gloves broke. Like all the little plastic ones. And I didn't have any other ones to use. So I ended up just having to use my fingers. So they're all like dyed purple. That my fingers are almost done, but my fingernails. Ugh. Gross. Okay, so with this, what I want to do is we're going to do a big stem stitch in rows all the way across here and across here. And then what I'm thinking for this one is going to be a woven picot stitch. And if we make it longer, like up to here, we can actually tack it down here. Wouldn't that be so cute to have like an actual woven basket handle? I think it would be adorable. So I'm going to trial that, and then if it looks nice, I'll teach you how to do it. And if not, we'll do it later in the week. And then we're going to continue that stem stitch with fewer strands all the way around the bottom of our basket, but I'm going to use the other color. So let's zoom in and get started. Woo! Okay. So we've already kind of done the stem stitch for around here, and we've already done it for a stem, but this is going to be all 6 strands. We're going to go back and forth, just to give it a nice bit of like a ropey kind of texture. These are going to be quite big stitches. You don't want them to be too small. I know I said about adding that extra stitch at the beginning, so it's completely up to you whether you want to or not. And then also a reminder that we always put the loop on the hump. So the loop is going down like this, or the hump is going down like this. So my loop will go down like that as well. Goodness, I've had a hard day today. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I'm absolutely beat. Like I said last week, Alice has decided that she doesn't really want diapers anymore, but she also doesn't want to pee on the potty. And we're going out and doing a bunch of stuff. And have you ever sat on a bathroom floor in Marshall's about 7 times because she says she has to go pee, but she doesn't, but she does, but she doesn't? Oh my goodness. My patience has been tested. And some other people in the house have been difficult as well. So we are having a time here, but I feel beat, absolutely spent today. So I'm so thankful for this time to just like sit and stitch and chat and, you know what I mean? honestly, it's so nice. And I almost didn't do a stitch along this summer because I thought, you know what, let's just not. But I'm so glad I did, because I like so look forward to these evenings to just like calm down a bit from the day, you know, not to be too like woo woo, but today has been a day. Okay, then we're just gonna come up right next to it and go back the other way. Okay, so again, these can be quite big because they're gonna look really twisty. We want to just, we don't want them to be like too much like rope. You know what I mean? When you have that really small stem stitch, it will be really, really twisted like a rope, where these are kind of more like gives more like a twisty texture, but not necessarily like super tightly twisted like a rope. Hopefully that makes sense. But I think some people forget about stem stitch for filling, because oftentimes we look for something that's really smooth, or something that just kind of fills it in. Like there's embroidery artists that they do everything outlined and everything is split stitch. So it's not really like, not that they don't use a lot of stitches, but it's really just like a flat, it looks like a really flat texture and feeling, if that makes sense. And sometimes I forget about stem stitch for filling, because it's typically like an outlining type thing, or like used for stems, like its name suggests. When you go close, don't get too close, or you're going to unstitch the stitch that you just stitched. So this is my third. I've gone there and back, and now I'm just going back again. I might need to do, I'm thinking maybe one or two more, possibly two, but we'll see what just one looks like. One more after this. So 4 in total. We'll see. And then I've come up with the cutest pattern of the month for August. Like half inspired by the lake and half inspired by, we're going to Norfolk for the Easter holiday this year. And normally we go to like Devon, Cornwall, which is on the other side of England, but now we're going to the other side of England, to the east side instead of the west side. We've got a little bow here, so make sure you kind of go around that bow. So I'm just going to do one little kind of half stitch. So I don't know if you guys know where I'm talking about, but Devon and Cornwall is kind of southwest, and very nice. I don't know, sometimes I need to get better at doing more. I think I got a little bit, I've talked about it before obviously, but got a little bit deterred by every time. For a while it got to be almost every single time I would post something that was not embroidery, people would be like, unfollowing. I did not come here to learn about your life. I just want to learn about embroidery. And I'm not gonna lie, it got me down a bit. So I kind of stopped posting. So I think I might start again, do a bit more life stuff, you know? But I do try to post some things, but we tend to go to the other side. But this year we're going to go to the other side, the west side, or sorry, the east side, which is so nice. How cute is that? I could probably get away with just one more because you can kind of see it there. So let's go back one more time and just see. You can always take it out if it's too much, hey? So yeah, we were talking last night about our holidays and stuff, like what holidays we were going on and whatever. And David was like, oh yeah, we're going to Norfolk. And I was like, no, I don't remember that. And I had just completely forgot that we booked the holiday. Isn't that silly? Oh. I was like, excuse me, what? It was in the calendar and everything, honestly. But, I've got some fish, and I've got some shells. I've got some, like, underwater coral type things. So, like, half inspired by the lake and half inspired by the sea. That looks nice. Definitely looks like the woven top of a basket, doesn't it? I thought so as well. So that's what the August pattern of the month is going to be. I'll show you guys in my stories later, because I've not done a very good job at posting it. And it looks like we need a little bit more on this side as well, just up here to the corner. So let's just go do that while we're here. So do one. I think I've got literally just enough. And I'm going to do mine on a blue fabric as well. So it's going to be I think it's going to be so cute. Okay. How cute is that? I think it looks so nice. Okay, let's flip it over and we're going to do our little knot on the back. And then I'm going to get the other color and do the outline. Again, it's going to be a stem, I don't know why I said that so forcefully. It's going to be a stem stitch outline as well. But we're going to use way less strands, and we're really going to try and stitch close to whatever you have, okay? So take this time to kind of push anything down, get it in the right spot, get it situated, okay? Because where these kind of lay and where your outline is, that's where it's going to kind of like hold it all in place. You know what I mean? So all these little things, you kind of want to push them down. Spread them out a bit. Yeah, so they lay nice and flat. And then we're going to do a stem stitch outline around this part here. So let me grab my other color. I'm a little bit worried because this color and this color, I think they look so different, but it's definitely 960. It's not 960. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's 840. It says it right there. It's definitely the right one. I have the closed peg and everything. That's what it said on it. So I know that that's the one it is. And when I put this color here next to it, it does not look the same to me. So I hope, like, it's so close, you know what I mean? But to me, it's different. I might be one of those people that can see, like, a ton of colors. There's, like, a name for it or something. Actually, how much of that is left? Because that might be exactly what I need. That might be the exact bit I need. Now, I can also use it, I was going to use it for my handle up here, okay? Which will be fine because there's a separation. But if I were to go, like, all in with this color next to it, you might see a subtle difference, which sometimes can be really annoying. Like, I can tell immediately that's not right, but... Jenny says, I enjoy hearing about your life in England as well as embroidery. Oh, thank you. Right, this is 3 strands, which is what I was about to use, so that's perfect. Let's put this on my needle and get started. And we're going to do the exact same thing, just following along here, but you're going to follow the line that you did, okay? So if you've done it a little bit inside the line, stitch it a little bit inside the line. Do you know what I mean? Follow the line that you did, because what this stem stitch is going to do is cover up all of those edges, and it's going to really kind of bring it together. Now, the reason we're doing a stem stitch and not just a full-blown straight stitch is because the lines aren't straight on the sides, and it's not straight on the bottom. So we want something that has a nice curve to it. That's also kind of continuous. So when you're looking at stitches, you could use like a stem stitch, a whipped back stitch, but I would kind of go away from just like a full-blown straight stitch unless your edge is super straight. Mine has a bit of a curve to it. Okay, so I'm going to put my loop on the hump, which is on the outside. So my loop is always going to be on the outside of my basket because it kind of curves this way and then curves this way and then curves that way. So just move it over a little bit so you can see. I've got 3 strands and I put it on my smaller 3-strand needle. All right, and we're going to make these a little bit big, but not that big. So about like a third of the way. Because again, I don't want them to be like a twisty rope. I'm using it more like an outline instead of using it as the rope-like texture of a stem stitch. So have a little think about that when you are doing your stitch length. And this one I'm going to put right down in the corner there. And then up like this. And this is what I get asked about a lot. If you do your stem stitch in a corner, what do you do? How do you start? Okay, I'm just going to push it up a bit. Or push this down a bit. Okay, how do you start? Because normally when you start a stem stitch, you're going to start here. But if we start here, we're going to undo the stitch we just did. Okay, so what we're going to do is skip ahead of it. About here. And then go down this way. Okay, and then up in the middle as if we've just started. And then now we can continue per usual. I'm going to do mine about in line with the little spokes, like almost the same line, because some of my embroidery did not, or my weaving doesn't really go all the way down. So I'm just going to try and cover that up a little bit and make it so that it fills in those spots. I could also go back with another 6 strands and do another little weaving, but I think I can kind of shimmy those down. Okay, so we're going to go down again right here. Do you see how it kind of like finishes it off at the bottom? It doesn't make it look like, bam, I've outlined it. But you can tell there's a little, it kind of like just finishes it off a little bit. So you can kind of see from here or here as a comparison. I can tell, but this one might be a little bit trickier because I've got one that is literally a little bit up. Do you know what I mean? Like a small little gap there. So I'm just gonna try and get those sorted like that. And then this is just gonna go right up in there on the end. And there we go. Looks so much neater with the outline. It really, really does. Like, it just looks so much more like finished and like done, you know? So I'm not gonna actually do an outline on the outside of these. I feel like it doesn't really need it. But if you think you didn't do yours like as nice as you could have, you could always do a little, just a tiny outline there. I would match the color to whatever color you use though, because then it will make it look like it's part of that, you know? Okay, so now we're gonna do some backstitch and whipped backstitch, and we're gonna do them for the glasses right here. And we're gonna do them for the inside of the circles. Then we're gonna fill them later with some satin stitch. Okay, so we're gonna see how much we get done today. And then we might be doing some similar work with the coffee saucer on the bottom. You can't see it, but I'm pointing to it over here. So let's put this one away. Now I have like a teal turquoise-ish Polaroid camera, which is what I've used to draw this. Okay. So you can make it any color that you want to. Same with the glasses. If you have a favorite color glasses that you want to do, you could do red, you could do like a brown wood or white or pink or brown, like any color you want to. It's completely up to you. I'm gonna do some black and white for the middles of these. And then obviously here it's white around the outside, and then you can fill the inside with something if you want to, or you can make it all black like it's being developed or something, you know. Actually I think they're white until they're developed and then they turn the color that you want. But you can kind of see what it would be, or you can make it into a picture. Okay, so you could put a little heart there, or you could do a little flower, or you could do your own little scene. Like I've made some really small landscapes like that. You could literally do a little like something like that. Yeah. And do some little different stitches with like 1 or 2 strands for these here. How cute would that look? Just making it darker so you can actually see it. You know? How cute would that be? You know, you've taken a little picture of the view from your picnic or something. You can, like, what's it called? Inception yourself and like do a little basket and some books. Okay, so we're going to do some whipped back stitch. I'm just thinking for my sunglasses, I thought they were going to be brown. But that might be a bit too much brown, mightn't it? Maybe some red, like a nice bright red sunglasses or something. I feel like sunglasses should be red and they should be like heart-shaped. I keep wanting to do black, but then I think if I do black, is it going to stand out enough? Let's do black. Ooh, this is definitely not like DMC thread. I can tell. I can feel it. Okay. But I don't think I have any. Let me check my thing. Because this is like kind of fuzzy. Oh, I have some. Good. I don't like the feel of that. Oh, much better. Much better. Okay, so we're going to do a whipped back stitch. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use all 6 strands. You could also do a satin stitch for this if you wanted to. But we're going to do all 6 strands. And what we're going to do is stitch it, and then we're going to whip it, and it's going to give it a raised kind of look with all 6 strands. So we're going to go around the glasses, and then over, and then around again. So I'm going to do straight across. I'm going to zoom in, but you might not be able to see it so good because it's black thread. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the stitches right in the middle of this outline. We want them to be a little bit small because when we whip them, we want it to be round. We don't want it to be like angular, you know? just very quickly thought, actually, I could go all the way over to the other side and then back around and then connect it that way, you know? Now, it will look really funny until these kind of look like those rimmed glasses, how it is like that, doesn't it? Where they have like wire on the bottom, or like, and just like the spectacles. Obviously, you could make glasses and not sunglasses if you wanted to. This is literally just a backstitch. I'm going down in the same hole that I used, all 6 strands. Funny story, my mom took the kids out for a little walk because they had a nap on the way home. And an unintentional nap, might I add. And they had a little walk outside just to try and like run around and burn off some energy. And I had put lotion all over it was a sunburn, but now it's starting to kind of like peel off. So I was like, well, I'm going to put some lotion on. And then I thought, well, if they're going to go for a walk, I'm going to finish my books, which I did finish one book. See? Yeah. I'm going to finish my book. I could not for the life of me pull this needle through this fabric. I couldn't. It was actually comical. I was like pulling and pulling. It would not work. I had to go wash my hands with Dial soap, like to wash your dishes with, because I genuinely could not pull this needle through. It's like, thank goodness I'm not filming right now, because you guys would have had to wait whilst I went to go wash my hands. Okay, I'm going to jump straight over here. I've got 2 layers of fabric, so you're not even going to see it. Also, we're going to whip it, so if there's any like little spaces that you missed or anything like that, and just to be clear, I did put SPF on, okay? I did put sun cream on. I was not just out there like, you know, burning in the sunshine. Just before someone shouts at me. Okay, now that we're back where we started, they look so cute. Okay, now that we're back where we started, we're going to whip it, okay? So we're going to come back up again. You can pick any place you want to. I'm going to pick where we started. And I like to go out, so you need to pick away, okay? And then do it that same way all the way around, okay? So you're going to come up here and go underneath each stitch. Yeah, so I'm picking from bottom to top, but you could also go top to bottom. So bottom to top, we're going to do straight across from one side to the other side. Then we're going to do the bottom and then the other bottom. Now this is going to give like a rope, like kind of raised effect, which is kind of what we want, okay? We want them to look like glasses. Sorry. And if you do it like this, it will look like a rope. Let me get something dark, and then maybe you can see it a bit better. Sometimes it like will change the, if there's a bunch of dark stuff, it will like change the exposure, but it's clearly not doing it. But what you're going to do is if you go from the bottom to top every time, okay? then you're going to get this kind of a ropey effect like this. If you go down and then up and then down and then up, you're going to get like a snake. It's going to be like a wavy, squiggly line. And we don't really, I mean, if you want some funky glasses, like do it. You know what I mean? Use like metallic thread. You could do beads or like rhinestones. Funny story, David showed up to the lake with bedazzled sunglasses because apparently they went to Symphony Hall in Birmingham with his class like on the last week of school, and it was Elton John themed, so he he let the students bedazzle his sunglasses. So he showed up with bedazzled sunglasses, and I was like, what? Well, that was fun. I'm just going to do this outside edge here. Oh. Okay, and then down on this side. I don't know if you can see, but it's like really made it like a rope and like off the fabric. It also clears all the stitches. So if you can actually see, which you can't very well, it's like a twisty, it almost looks like wire on top now, whereas these ones you can see every single stitch that I've done. It kind of like eliminates those, so it makes it nice and smooth. Okay, so I'm gonna do inside out, from inside going out, from every time around. Oopsies. Then we're going to do the same thing for the inside circles of the Polaroid. Give it a little tug like that. Make sure it's all sorted, and do the other side. All right, have we any questions so far? And put that right back down. Cute. Okay, and then we're actually going to do the same exact thing for 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this circle here, this circle here, and this circle here. Okay, so if you want me to, obviously I can show that, but we're just doing the same thing that I just did. Like the exact same thing. So I think for mine, I'm just trying to decide what color I should make it. I think I might do the middle one black. And let's try like 4 strands just to make it a little bit less bulky. I do want to show just one circle though, because with the whipping, you kind of have to tuck it in so it kind of goes all the way around. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise you'll have a hole. So let's do that really quickly. So make them small, because you don't want it to be like a geometric circle. You know what I mean? Like an angular circle. Now, when you do the whipping, it does kind of like round out some of those stitches. So it's actually really good if you're doing like an outline of something and maybe you didn't like nail it 100%, you know? You could always add a whip later if you find that you've got like a wonky line, or, you know, it didn't quite turn out as straight as you wanted. Almost went through the knot and I didn't in the end. Thank goodness. Okay, so now you're going to come up again. Any of these really. And then do the whipped part, okay? So I always choose inside going out. This is just to give it like a raised, kind of twisty look there. Almost like a corded, you know? It's gonna make it stand out a little bit more than just using a different color. So, what I mean is that when you get to the end, you can't just go back down where you came up, because then you're gonna have a hole. So you're gonna have to tuck it. Got one here, and then this is the one that I came up in the first place, okay? But you do have to do that, okay? So that it goes all the way around in a circle, and then you're just gonna tuck it down in. You can either go down in the next hole, or I just kind of tuck it in anywhere. A little bit on an angle. You're just going to tuck it like that, okay? And it definitely fixes, yes. Tracy said, I love how it fixes the angles of the earlier stitches. And yes, it does, except obviously that little area where I've just tucked it. It makes it so nice and like round like that. So you're going to do the same thing for this one and this one, but I would suggest doing this one and this one in the color that you want your camera to be, because that's kind of how it is on an actual camera. This one kind of is as well, but I'm going to do a little black square in the middle as well for Details Day when we finish this. And then there's like a little white thing here, and then this is kind of like the flash. So you can kind of see what all the little bits are, but do these two circles in whatever color you want your actual camera to be, okay? And yeah, that's it for today. That's all we're doing, because we've done quite a lot. It doesn't seem like that much, but as you're stitching, you're going to be like, oh wow, that is quite a bit. So you've got 3 circles to do here, 1, 2, 3. I'm doing 1 in black and then 2 in the color that I want to do my camera. We did the outline of our spectacles or sunglasses, whichever you would like to do. And then we did an outline for this here, and then we filled in the top of this. I'm going to try a woven picot for this and see if it works. And if not, we'll come back and do that a different day. So we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have 4 days left. And if we don't finish by Friday, I'll just add another day. It's not a big deal. Okay? So we're not rushing. You are not late. You are not behind. All right? Get done what you can get done. Make it enjoyable. Take your time. Spread it out. Enjoy the summer. All right? And I will see you tomorrow at the same time. Bye.